Hello everyone and welcome to another scrapbook layout share video. This is another Cricut cut scrapbook layout. I've purchased all of the digital art collections from the January to March catalogue. So you may have seen in two of the videos that I've already shared, I've created the Are We There Yet? Pretty much almost to exactly how it was laid out because I love that layout so much. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link to that video below. And I've also done this storybook digital art collection layout, but I did change that one up a bit. The next one I'm going to do is the Life's a Hoot. So I challenged myself with this catalogue, I buy the digital collections to actually physically make the layout pages. And this one I've done a whole makeover on altogether. So you can probably see from the backgrounds here, I've got the glacier, which is the blue, but I am changing it totally from this design with the owls and the floral elements. And I've swapped out the placements for the photo holders to suit what I've done. And I've manipulated the SVG file. So all of our collections, as I've said before, are now SVG files when it comes to digital art. So anyone with a cutting machine that uses SVGs can now use them. You're not restricted to having Cricut collections like we used to. And I just love manipulating SVG files and images to suit what I needed. So take a little mental picture of this, and then I'm going to take away the magazine and give you an idea of what I've got. I've got things in my little tray here. Whenever I cut pieces, I always like to put them somewhere without, so I don't lose them. And you can see I am going for a beachy vibe with this page. I've used Glacier as my background, and I've already gone ahead and I kept one of the overlays with this gorgeous circle pattern as one piece. But for the left page, I didn't want a full one of these. I wanted somewhere for my title and everything to rest. So instead of cutting out a full one and then putting a piece of paper over top, I actually combined these. So I welded the pieces together. I sliced this in half, I put a rectangle in and welded these together. And then I also did some more little slicing with some of the circle elements here. I decided I wanted to have a little element on all of this to break that up. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to my page. Now normally when I'm working with fine things, I use glue, but dot roller works really well on something like this because all I need to do is apply it to the middle sections here and the top and bottom section. And using an all-purpose mat, this means that whatever doesn't go onto the paper just goes onto the all-purpose mat. It doesn't stick at all and show areas outside of this. And then because this is a little bit sticky, there's actually not that much there, I can just wipe that off, and then I can go in with my normal tape runner and adhere the remainder of the page. So the dot roller is really, really good for working on fine elements, especially when you've got a large piece like this, to do all the glue on here and try and get that onto the page while it's all still wet. You have to work fairly quickly. So now I'm going to, and I'm using the light side of Glacier for all of this and the dark side of Honey. I love that our cardstock has two shades to it. So I'm just lining this up so that it's centered on the page somewhat on the left-hand side. So now I'm going to lay my pieces out that I've got here. I've custom done a title. So this font here is called KG Strawberry Limeade. It's one of my favorite ones. So my title I'm going to put here. I use the offset feature to give a nice big bubble effect and then adhere each of these individual letters down. I've got this camera here. I haven't adhered that yet. I'm going to do that on camera with you because there are a few little pieces. This is actually from the Are We There Yet digital art collection. So I've mixed Life's a Hoot with the Are We There Yet? And that works quite well. And I'm purposefully going to put things up this section here because this can be a journaling spot or it could be another photo as well. I'm going to have a 4x6 photo here. And then these elements here, this is actually a Cricut Access piece, and I've sliced that because I just wanted the top part. So that is going to go up here. And then I created a tag with a stencil font. So this is going to go over here. I've got a little, I haven't actually attached this yet because I wanted to show you what I've done. I've sliced the title out, and I also sliced out a slim rectangle here to give it a little bit more of a design. And then when that goes over top, it shows through nicely. So I think that all works quite well. There's enough of a balance. I've got a design here, and then I've got two more over there, so there is a visual triangle going on. And I meant to mention the good thing about using a stencil font to cut things out, you don't have to keep all these little tiny pieces to put on the inside. Because it's a stencil one, it can just lay directly over top. So I'm going to adhere all of these pieces together. So with this camera, there are quite a few layers to this. So what I'm going to do is adhere this all with dot roller. So this little piece actually sits right on where the circle is for the lens. You just have to line that up. Then there's this area here, like the viewfinder area. And I'm just lining that up so it runs alongside here. And this strip goes across the bottom. And I can use dot roller on this. So for people that don't like using liquid glue, you can definitely use the dot roller that Close to My Heart stocks. And if any of the little dots do stick outside the edge, you can just run your fingers along like that, and that just smooths them down. This piece sits on top here. I'm going to use my dot roller again because I've got these fine little pieces. The only thing with the dot roller is you don't get the movement that you do when you use liquid glue, but it's very easy to pick it up and adjust it. Whereas with liquid glue, you've only got a certain amount of time to do that before it dries. So this goes in the center. And then there's another yellow circle. And then a white one in the middle of that. So it's not terribly hard to put together. I've cut this fairly large, so it makes it a lot easier to assemble. If it's a smaller image, of course, these little pieces do get a little bit more fiddly. But I quite love the big bold designs on this page. So now I can put this one down directly up against my photo holder. So this is actually quite a quick layout to put together. So I'm going to put in some twine, and I'm going to get out some dots as well to sprinkle those around, and that will be my page done. So I'll be back in a moment with those little accents put on. So I've sprinkled some dots around, and I just want to show you how I keep these now. I used to keep them in one of our old large organisers, but now we have this wonderful photo storage box, and it's got the really pretty design with Close to My Heart on there, so that's got that little bit of branding on there. But with these boxes, I don't actually use them for photos for this one. This has got embellishments in it, and I need to get my labelling machine up and running so that I can label all of these rather than pulling them out and have a look. But I saw Amy McGrew do this on an Instagram post, and she basically took all of her embellishments that were all like, I used to keep the wood ones together and the white ones in their own place and the black ones in their own place, and look, I've even got some blue ones in here. So that took a little bit for me to do. These are old ones, they're retired, but I put them all into one container. So now I can just pull that out and find any of my old arrows, my stars from all sorts of different collections that I haven't used, my hearts. I've even got one that's just got random pieces in here. There's some kitchen and some leaves and some caravans and all sorts of things that I haven't used, but it was all getting a little bit out of control. So when I saw what she did, I thought I have to do this too. Now I think with the hearts, I've kept the wood ones separate because I use wood ones quite a bit, and I had a lot of those. So the acrylics have gone in one and the wood's gone in another. And then I've got my new ones up the front. So this is the new white acrylic heart. So when I get more of these, as I order more and more things, I'll put all the colors in here that are available. And I've got my white arrows in this one. But with my dots, all my old dots used to be in their individual packages. So for each collection that I had, they were in their individual packages. I'll just move this out of the way for the moment. So I've taken them out of their Ziploc bags. I haven't color coordinated these. These are all old retired ones. Some might still be available to order, but I've put them all in together, and it's quite easy to see without the packaging what colors there are for what I want to use on my project. So for this project here, I picked through and I found some old white ones. Now when you buy these in the core catalogue, they are all in the same colour family tones. So the packet will look like this, and you get 2 sheets. So this is a green tone, obviously, which I really love how they're doing this now. So you've got a wide variety. And remember, you can always colour these with your tri-blend markers and even with the new metallic paint markers. They colour really, really well. But I wanted to use up some of my stash, so I just went through and I found dots that look just like honey butter and like glacier and the white, and I've just sprinkled a few of those around in certain places. So I wanted to show you this is a great storage solution for all of your embellishments. And there's my layout all done. So I'll pop some still shots up at the end of this video. I hope, and I've got this a little bit crooked, I've just noticed. So because I didn't use liquid glue, I'm able to pick that up because it was on a dot roller and straighten that up. So I'm so glad I didn't use liquid glue for that one. It's funny how you notice things after you stand back and look at it. I didn't actually notice that when I put that down originally. I hope you've enjoyed this little series that I've done with the double page layouts from the SVG files, where I basically started with the first one where I kept it pretty much as is except for changing up the colors. The second one I took some things away and added a unicorn in, and this one I've manipulated the file so that this becomes one overlay piece with the rectangle, and I've brought in a camera from the Are We There Yet collection. I took all the owls and the flowers away because I really loved this background overlay, and I wanted to show you how you can take a digital art collection and swap it out to make a totally different style theme page. Thank you so much for watching. Happy crafting, and bye for now.